Uh, well, welcome back to TTP Sports, everyone. That was it was ugly. Yeah, that was very ugly. Oh my goodness, that's not the way you want to start the second half of the year. That's definitely not. My God, getting destroyed 15-1, 15-2 actually to the Chicago Cubs. My God. Oh my goodness. And with the way the game started off too, with Kyle Schwarber hitting a leadoff bomb, I was like, okay, this game may go by swiftly. Kyle Gibson was nice for the first 3 innings, and then everything hit the fan. Shit hit the fan from then. You had bases loaded in the bottom of the third inning, 2 outs. You didn't score. Also, you had a leadoff double in that inning by Rhys Hoskins. He didn't come home. Then Wilson Contreras tied it the following half inning. Okay, they respond after you don't do anything with the bases loaded. And then the fifth inning happened. Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna kill them. I'm not gonna crush this team. I'm not, because honestly, if I'm looking throughout baseball right now, there are a lot of blowouts going on. Honestly, currently, and if you're looking at the Red Sox game, they're getting smoked 27-5 currently. If we're looking at other scores, Yankees, Baltimore 7-6, Mets are losing to the Padres 4-1. Braves are smoking the Angels 6-0. Cleveland's winning 8-2. There are a lot of blowouts throughout baseball today. The Marlins, I think, beat the Pirates 8-1. So I guess you can call it a little bit of All-Star game break rust for a couple of teams coming into the first game after the All-Star break. Kyle Schwarber didn't feel the rust though because he hit the leadoff bomb, but maybe everyone else did. But still, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not, because overall, you're not gonna lose like this to bad teams more times than not. But you're going to have losses to bad teams. That's what I'm going down for. You have 2 games left in the series, and you have a great chance to respond tomorrow with Zack Wheeler on the mound. Zack Wheeler having a good week off. I know his past couple of starts haven't been the best, but still a well-rested Zack Wheeler going into tomorrow's game. I expect the bats to come out with a much better, just everything. It just, it kind of felt like after that bases loaded situation, everything just hit, went quiet, went silent. I expect them to come back into the ballpark tomorrow after basically getting mollywopped today, getting embarrassed in front of your home fans on Apple TV too. Ugh. I have a lot of things to say about Apple TV, but I'll get into that later. I'll get into that later. But still, not going to crush them. Throw this game in the trash, because really, besides your offense did go over some of runners in scoring position. That is an issue. Kyle Gibson, after the third inning, for some reason, it kind of felt like this. There was a couple of starts ago. I believe it was against the Cardinals, or was it? I'm trying to think of one of his other starts previously where he started off good, and it was like going throughout the process of the game. Kyle Gibson has had many starts like this year, where the first 3 innings, he was attacking guys, pounding the strike zone, getting easy, quick outs, being very efficient, pounding strikes, throwing sinkers, locating well. But then all of a sudden, he tries to get cute. He tries to throw more off speed pitches. And then it just, when you're consistently trying to be too cute, trying to throw the perfect pitch, you're going to leave a lot of pitches out over the middle of the plate. Pitches that are very hittable. And that's what happened. Granted, the defense in that 5th inning was goddamn atrocious. I'll get into that in a little bit, because that was just awful. And after that whole mishap, I think Kyle Gibson just he just lost it. Completely lost it after that too. So this is what Kyle Gibson honestly has been this year. And this is honestly what really throws it to me, that this team really needs another starting pitcher. I know we stressed this over the past couple of recaps, over the past week and a half and stuff like that, even going with the Rangers Suarez IL stint and this whole Zach Eflin situation with his knee. Like, we've been stating that the Phillies do need to address the starting pitching rotation, because you can't be relying every 5th day with either a Bailey Falter or a Christopher Sanchez. That's just not going to get it done. A guy that, you're just calling up from AAA and they're going to give you 4 or 5 innings max. That's not going to cut it every 5th day, because that's going to be too taxing on your bullpen. You got to go out there. You got to address the starting pitching, because Kyle Gibson this year has been very up and down. He'll give you 2 good starts, 2 bad starts, 2 really good starts, mix in a couple of bad starts. Been up and down, up and down, up and down for Kyle Gibson. Zach Eflin, sucks to say it, the guy just can't stay healthy. It's that same knee that's been bothering him from last year that he got surgery on, and who knows how much longer he's even going to be out for. And Ranger Suarez is a wild card. We still don't know what to expect from Ranger. He's been a lot better as of late, definitely. Even though the past week and a half he was on the IL with the back spasms, then had the really good outing in Miami before the All-Star break. He's a wild card. We all knew he wasn't going to be what he was last year. That was just impossible to replicate for him. But what was he going to be? Was there going to be an in-between thing for Ranger? That's why he's a wild card, because we still don't know what to expect from him still, even though we're going down to the later stages of the year. So you need to go out there to the trade deadline. Dave Dombrowski, you got to find a starting pitcher. And granted, the starting pitching market this year is insanely weak. And I mean weak. There's not many names out there on the market. Like your biggest names out there probably are Luis Castillo from the Reds and a Frankie Montas from Oakland. And Frankie Montas, that entire situation, I know a couple of weeks ago they were talking about him possibly having a dead arm. And he's been injured a couple of times this year. And I think he was also coming off of a steroid thing or something like that last year. I'm not entirely sure. But it's something you might not want to steer towards. Luis Castillo, decent arm. But since, this starting pitching market is very weak, Luis Castillo being one of the top names on the market, the Reds might ask for a little too much for him. I would expect Dave Dombrowski to maybe steer in a different direction. Does he go out there and try to get creative? Does he do what he did last year? Maybe you go out there for a solid veteran arm that you're going to have years of control under like you did with Kyle Gibson. I'm not expecting, Dave Dombrowski to go out there, acquire an ace, because you still have that nice 1-2 punch with Zack Wheeler and Nola. Got to find a way to supplement that 3-4-5 spot, because you do have a solid 4-5 starter in Kyle Gibson. Granted, like I said, he's been very up and down this year. And you have the wild card in Ranger Suarez, and with Zach Eflin most likely being out long term because you don't have no idea when he's going to return. Maybe you could do the same thing as you did last year. I do expect them to be a little bit creative, though, because big names in the prospect system for the Phillies, they're going to be very untouchable. Abel, Painter, those guys aren't going anywhere. Dave Dombrowski has stated this. So I expect them to be a little bit creative. Maybe does he try to tap into the Luis Castillo market? I have no idea. But I do expect that maybe he goes after a guy that might have control under him for maybe another year. I'm not sure who that guy is going to be, but they do need to address the starting pitcher because the trade deadline is coming up very shortly. It's in the first week of August. So it's going to be a very quick turnaround for that. I do expect the Phillies to make moves, though. I expect Dave Dombrowski to be very active at the trade deadline, specifically for maybe one of the guys that they're playing against in this series against Chicago Cubs, a guy in Ian Happ. There have been rumors out there that maybe the Phillies go out there and get him. Ian Happ, nice outfielder, having a really good year for Chicago this year, really coming into his own. If you're looking at his year overall, he's batting .247, 9 home runs, 42 RBIs, switch hitter, can play the outfield. He's 27 years old. He has another year of control after this year. He makes around $6.5 million. And then he has an arbitration year next year. So you still have control for an Ian Happ. So there is things to do there. That would be a nice pickup for the Phillies, honestly, because Ian Happ, like I said, he has good stats this year, good splits. He's a switch hitter. He can play the outfield. He's got speed. He's not going to be the most dynamic defender, but he's going to be serviceable out there. And from what I've been seeing in the past couple of series for this Phillies team, I've been seeing Matt Vierling a lot more. I haven't been seeing as much as Odubel Herrera. I haven't been seeing as much as Mickey Moniak. I'm thinking for that, maybe most likely we all knew Dave Dombrowski was probably going to go after an outfielder. I know Andrew Benintendi's name's out there, but Ian Happ's also a very interesting one as well, specifically for that extra year of control. And also playing for, and I think Ian Happ came up in 2017 or something like that with the Cubs. He's been a very solid guy. Like I said, good hitting switch hitter. And he's probably, this is one of his, I want to see his stats over his career too. Just look at his entire career. Yeah, he came up in 2017. Yeah, he's a career .247 batter. This is honestly a career year for Ian Happ, batting .281 on the year. So yeah, he's coming into his own. He had 25 home runs yesterday. The power is definitely not where you expect it to be, but the power, honestly, his first season, he had 24 home runs. 2018, he had 15. 2019, he had 11. But that was an injury-shortened year for him. 2020 in the COVID shortened season, he had 12 home runs. Last year, 25. And this year, he only has 9 in 91 games played. So the power isn't there as much. But if you look at his average, 281, 369 on base percentage, 448 slugging at 817 OPS. He's been a very solid guy for Chicago this year, basically over his entire career. So if that's a guy that you want to steer in the direction to, specifically for outfield, maybe that's a guy you could platoon out there with Matt Vierling. Not sure how that's going to work, who you trade in that place. They're definitely going to be asking for maybe a prospect like maybe an Ohapi. Maybe he's a guy, Logan Ohapi, one of your top catching prospects down in the minors. Maybe that's a name that comes up. Maybe do you also trade them maybe a Mickey Moniak in return so they just have an outfielder to go to them? There's a question marks there for the Cubs. There's definitely going to be a lot of things, considering what trade you're going to be making. Do the Phillies try to go for an infielder? Maybe not. I do more think they're going to be focused on another starting pitcher, another outfielder, and maybe more bullpen depth. And that's the biggest question mark for this Phillies team, definitely. That's going to be the major thing. And like I said for this game, I'm not going to kill this team. I'm not. There were definitely many chances for this team, though, to drive in runs, like I said. Over 7 runners in scoring position. They're just trying to think of the word. I like a blank on it for a little bit here. Trying to just think of it overall. It was just, like I said, when you go into that third inning, really the pitcher for the Cubs out there, Steele, he was completely all over the place, throwing balls left and right, walking a lot of people. He walked 4 batters during this entire ball game, and they just weren't able to get that timely hit in that third inning. Rhys Hoskins with the leadoff double, then Castellanos and JT both get 2 outs in a row. Alec Bohm works out a good at bat, works a walk. Matt Vierling works a walk. Then Didi grounds out. That's the one thing in that third inning, too, where the previous 2 at bats with 2 outs, you get Alec Bohm and you get Matt Vierling. Both come up. They both battle in their at bats. So if I go to that, basically those at bats in the bottom of the third inning. If I look at Bohm's at bat, it was a 10-pitch at bat, worked out a walk. Matt Vierling's at bat, it was a 6-pitch walk, full count. He found a way to get on base. And Didi Gregorius. This is something that confused me. He swings at the first pitch. If I look at the Alec Bohm at bat, takes the ball. He takes a lot of pitches, but then he manages to foul all of them off. He got down on the count 1-2, but he managed to work that count into a walk. Matt Vierling barely swung. He fouled 1 ball off. Didn't really turn in anything right there. So 2 pretty good at bats there by Bohm and Vierling. But then Didi swings at the first pitch. That's something that confuses me. Like, why, when you're looking at the previous 2 batters, when you're seeing that this pitcher is completely all over the place, why are you swinging at the first pitch, Didi? That's my question mark right there. It is. And then when you go into the rest of the game, Contreras responds the very next inning, tying the ball game up with the home run. You go into that top of the 5th inning, the leadoff walk there for Gibson. Morel doubles. Oh, God, this entire situation. So Morel doubles, scores a run. Schwarber goes into the corner, plays it on the hop, throws it into Didi. The relay by Didi was terrible. I know a lot of people were saying, we could have got the runner out at home. No, the throw by Didi was terrible. If you look at the angle in the replay, that ball was going wide. It was not going to be right at home plate. The guy was probably going to be safe by a couple of inches. So I don't mind Rhys cutting the play off. It's a questionable thing to throw to second base, though, because he should be realizing that there's no one covering second base at all. And that's also a problem, because Matt Vierling's coming in from center field to cover second base, and he's obviously not there. Because when you're looking at when Didi got the relay, for some reason Bryson stops there as well. So that's a whole mishap entirely right there. And then Rhys Hoskins throwing to second base, not really realizing no one's there. Matt Vierling not in there in time because he's running all the way from center field to try to get to second base. Ball goes into the outfield. No one's out there because Matt Vierling is the one running into play second base in that point to cover the bag. And then it becomes, a weird inside the park home run type of thing, even though it doesn't count like that, but still. Runs score on that makes it a 3-1 ball game. And then Kyle Gibson just completely broke down from there. Wolf Contreras. Suzuki got a swinging bunt. Ian Happ with an RBI single. Made it 4-1. Familia comes into the ball game. Familia comes in, the game's over. Got a double by Horner, make it 6-1, and Wisdom got a double, made it 7-1. So yeah, completely blew up. Bottom of the fifth, basically, if you go for the rest of this ball game, really, it's that bottom of the third inning, that bases loaded chance. Honestly, if you score with those chances with the bases loaded, does Kyle Gibson blow up? That's the question mark. If you score with the bases loaded, does Wilson Contreras hit a home run? Sometimes a lot of those situations do come back to haunt you big time. Top of the eighth inning, they bring home more runs. Jojo Romero out there on the mound. He struggled. A lot of home run to Velasquez. Velasquez came in the eighth inning as a pitch hitter, and he had 2 home runs today and drove in 5. That's how good the bats were for the Cubs today. Leadoff single, Velasquez home run, Contreras walk, Suzuki single, Ian Happ RBI single. He managed to get out of the inning there, but still. Then you get Garrett Stubbs allowing 5 runs in the top of the 9th inning. A home run to Velasquez, a home run to Suzuki. So, yeah. That's how the game went. And then you get the absolute moonshot by Derek Hall in the bottom of the 9th inning. 449 feet over the center field wall. So, that was one of the fun things tonight besides the Kyle Schwarber home run. But still, really, just a complete dud of a game. Complete dud. Like I said, Kyle Gibson today. 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs allowed, 3 walks, no strikeouts, home run allowed, 78 pitches. ERA up to 4.69. Familia came in to finish that part of the inning, got the 2 outs. A lot of those runs were charged to Gibson because a lot of those base runners were his inherited runners. 2 was allowed, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 1 strikeout. Corey Knebel allowed a hit and a walk, but he got 2 strikeouts as well, no runs allowed. Nick Nelson, same situation, allowed a hit, struck out 1, no runs there. Jojo Romero, 3 earned runs allowed, and Garrett Stubbs on the mound, 5 earned runs and 2 home runs allowed. Oh boy. Looking at the lineup entirely, Phillies only had 6 hits. Kyle Schwarber went 1 for 4 with the leadoff home run. Derek Hall hit the home run in his pinch hit at bat. Rhys Hoskins with a double. Nick Castellanos goes 0 for 5. JT 1 for 2. Alec Boehm 1 for 3. Matt Vierling 1 for 3. Didi over 4. Munoz over 3. Herrera over 1 in his pinch hit. Stott over 2. And then Camargo over 1 in his pinch hit at bat. Like I said, over 7 runners in scoring position. Munoz over 1 in that situation. Didi over 2. Vierling over 1. JT over 1. Stott over 1. And Castellanos over 1. The Phillies leave 10 runners on base. Like I said, overall, just a completely bad game in general. Gibson wasn't good. Familia obviously wasn't good. JoJo wasn't good. Stubbs, it's a position player on the mound. What do you expect from that standpoint? And the offense wasn't good. If you look at the Cubs, the only guy that did not get a hit in their lineup was Ortega and Rivas. And he had 2 walks in this game, though. Velasquez hit 2 home runs off the bench, 5 RBIs. Contreras went 2 for 3. Suzuki went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Ian Happ went 4 for 6. Horner went 1 for 6. Wisdom went 1 for 4. Schwindel went 1 for 5. And Morrow went 3 for 5. And you got to hope for that standpoint that the Cubs really just completely blew away all their offense for the rest of the series. But like I said, you have a great chance to bounce back tomorrow with Zack Wheeler on the mound. Great chance. Like I said, I'm not going to kill this team for this loss, but you still got to win the series. You got to win this series is mandatory. Win these last 2 games. Got Zack Wheeler on the mound tomorrow, and I think I saw Matt Gill post this, I think earlier this afternoon, that they're opting to go Bailey Falter on the mound Sunday, and then move Ranger Suarez to the Braves series and have Aaron Nola pitch in the second game of the Braves series to give Aaron Nola another extra day of rest. So you're going to have Zack Wheeler tomorrow in a Bailey Falter game on Sunday, which most likely he's only going 4 to 5 innings max, depending on how good he pitches. And then you have Ranger and Nola for the Braves series. You got to win tomorrow. Your offense has to come out tomorrow. They got to give Zack Wheeler help. And Zack Wheeler, after a week of rest, I expect him to be good tomorrow. I expect him to deal. Because like I said, tomorrow is a better chance than not to bounce back. I'm not going to throw you under the bus for this game. It's the first game after the All-Star break. Okay? Your schedule still favors you a ton. You're going to lose games. Not to this fashion, not to this extent. But you're going to lose games to bad teams. You're going to have those games where you lose. Bad teams will win all the time. Every team, majority of teams in baseball, they win 60 games, they lose 60. It's what you do with the rest that matters. The Cubs, they're 38 and 57. They're going to win 60 games this year. It's what they do. It's what the Phillies do with the rest that matters. Phillies are going to win 60. They're going to lose 60. It's what they do with the rest. And that's how you got to work with it. Your schedule really favors you. Like I said, tomorrow, you got these 2 games against Chicago. Wheeler on the mound going up against Marcus Stroman. Phillies should be familiar with him. He pitched with the Mets for the past couple of seasons. Then you got Bailey Falter up against Drew Smyly on Sunday. That's another nationally televised game on Peacock. Speaking of nationally televised, Apple TV, horrible broadcast. Horrible. Literally, the feed, the audio, everything was just completely out of whack. The quality was terrible. The broadcast itself was terrible. Terrible camera angles. My God. It was bad. It was completely bad. And the thing that sucks is the Phillies have 2 more Apple TV games this year. 1 against Washington and 1 against the Mets. Not next week. So after today's Apple TV game, the Phillies have an Apple TV game on August 5th and an Apple TV game on August 12th. So yeah, 2 more games on Apple TV. Whoop-de-doo. So you got Sunday's game will be Bailey Falter, Drew Smyly. Then you get the Braves series. It's going to be Ranger Suarez in the first game, Aaron Nola in the second game. Kyle Gibson's also going to pitch that last game on the Wednesday against Atlanta. 12:35 on a Wednesday. It's weird. Against Charlie Morton. And then this upcoming weekend, you're going to have a 4-game series in Pittsburgh. And then looking at the rest of the schedule, a random 2-game road trip in Atlanta, a 4-game home series against Washington, 3 games at home against Miami, 3 games on the road against New York and Cincinnati each, then 4 games at home against Mets and the Reds each. So 2 4-game series there. A 3-game series against the Pirates at home. Then you go out west for the final time this year. Arizona, 3 games. San Francisco, 3 games. Then you're back home for 6 games. 3 against Miami, 3 against Washington. Then you go on the road again, 6 games. 3 in Miami, 3 in Atlanta. And then you have the final home stretch of the season at the end of September. 2 games against Toronto and 4 games against Atlanta. And that's the final time you play Atlanta this year. And then the final 3 series of the season are going to be on the road. 3 games in Chicago, 4 games in Washington, and 3 games in Houston. Those 3 games against Houston, they were originally going to be the opening weekend series for this team. The Phillies were originally going to open up the series in Houston, the season in Houston, but then the lockout happened. So they rescheduled the series against Houston for the final game season, or the final series of the season. So yeah, but still, when you're looking at the schedule, see Pittsburgh, see Washington, Miami, Cincinnati, Arizona. Seeing a lot of bad teams. A lot of bad teams. This is a schedule that you have to take advantage of. And like I said, I do expect Dave Dombrowski to be active at this year's trade deadline. Getting a starting pitcher? Do they go out and get an Ian Happ? Maybe. I expect them to address the bullpen. And there's definitely going to be guys that are coming back to the bullpen from injury as well. What happens when Sam Coonrod comes back? Who does that rule out in the bullpen? Does a Familia get cut? Do they send Jojo Romero back down? Those are question marks that you got to be answered. And most likely, like I said, I do expect him to make moves at the deadline to bolster the bullpen as well. So there's those moves. And let's just look for the trade deadline this year. And it'll be trade deadline date. August 2nd. August 2nd is the trade deadline. And August 2nd is that series against Atlanta, which is a 2-game road series, which is really random in my honest opinion. So you got a little over a week until the trade deadline. Yeah, around a weekend, a couple of days. So we have time to plan this. Maybe does Dave Dombrowski just do it early? But then you also got to consider, they're saying Gene Segura could be ahead of schedule to where he can be starting his rehab assignment very soon. And then the expectations when Bryce Harper eventually comes back, when he eventually starts his rehab assignment. You're going to be getting additions, regardless of the trade deadline. You're going to be getting Gene Segura back, who's a 280 to 300 hitter consistently every year. And then you're going to be getting the National League MVP from last year, Bryce Harper, back from his injury. So whatever moves you make at the deadline this year, and then you add those two guys back to your lineup. Take advantage of the games that you have in front of you. Like I said, games against the Cubs, these last two. Games against Pittsburgh, games against Cincinnati, games against Washington, Miami. A lot of games against a lot of bad teams. Yeah, you're going to mix in the little games against the good teams that you're in there. Braves, Mets. If you look at the rest of the schedule, looking at teams that are above 500. Braves, Mets, San Francisco, Toronto, Houston. Not many. Not many series against good teams in this final stretch of the season. A lot of the series are against teams that are hovering around 500 or below 500. You have to take advantage of it. Like I said, you are going to lose games. That is expected. It is impossible to win every single series, every single game. We all know this. But take advantage. You have to win series against the bad teams. You have to win series against teams that you should be. Yes, there's going to be stretches where they do lose series against teams that they should be. That happens around every single team. But if you win more than not, you'll put yourself in a good spot, especially after the trade deadline and for when your guys come back in Gene Segura and Bryce Harper. Now you got to bounce back tomorrow. Like I said, Zack Wheeler on the bump is a better chance than not for you to bounce back. I expect him to be nothing but excellent because that's what Zack Wheeler has been majority of this year. And I expect the bats to bounce back. I do. Because this team is still ride or die by offense. So come on. Okay? Throw away the rust. Throw it away. Throw this game in the trash. Come back tomorrow. You got your ace on the bump. Put this team in their place. Put them in their place. They're not a good team. Let them get their game. Let them get their chance of excitement. And then put them right back where they belong. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Scott says, please tell me what the hell did I just watch for the last 3.5 hours? At least it only counted for one loss. It doesn't count as a loss if it's on Apple TV, though. I know. I saw that a lot on Twitter. A lot of people were just saying, oh, it was on Apple TV. Loss doesn't count. So we had the Cubs starting pitcher wild over the place, walking 4 and could not do anything against them. The Phillies left 10 on base and 0 for 7 runners and scored. But yeah, offense just wasn't good today. Basically, some here and there. Offense stinks. The offense does not stink, Julian. Too erratic? No, that's not true. The offense still ranks one of the best in baseball. Still ranks. They do need Bryce bad, though. Yes, they do need Bryce Harper. They're 10 and 32 and scoring 3 or less. Okay. Offenses do go on routes. You are going to lose more games than not when you do score 3 more runs or less. And you got to handle a lot of those losses were at the beginning of the year where the bullpen wasn't good and when your offense was going on major spurts of downtime. It's been a lot different since June. It has been. I know it doesn't look like it, but it has been. And they've been a lot better of a team since the beginning of June, since Rob Thompson took over. So right now, I know it's hard for some people to have faith. Hold the faith. They've been a lot better. And the schedule favors them. I know some people don't want to believe it because they want to go typical Phillies. But right now, I'm not going to kill them for this loss. And no one should kill them for this loss. It's how they respond. That's the most important thing. If they don't respond tomorrow, yes, then I'll have issues. I'm still not going to blow up and say that the season's over. One game at a time. That's all it takes. Corey fired Girardi. Oh, wait. The good old midseason Phillies collapse. Okay, we're not starting this. We're not starting this. So, yeah. I think that's where I'm going to end it off, everyone, before all the trolls in the chat come, and for all the Debbie Downer Philadelphia fans come. Gonna end it off here. So, I thank you everyone here that joins the live feed as always. Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I like to read those as always. Do not forget to drop a like. Don't forget to check out everything in the description below. Painted Lines, BrodesMedia. I definitely recommend all of that stuff. I also recommend hitting that subscribe button. I will greatly recommend that. And also using the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Use it for anything that you can think of. Takes away the fees. Use it for any Phillies game upcoming or anything else, concerts, whatever you can think of. It's a great deal. Do not pass it up. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I'll see you next time.